Hello all and welcome to the fourth weekly Wednesday special. I'm Darkdally and we are back here in my Raider town, which you may have seen a month or so ago in one of my videos. I briefly did a run through it, and today I want to come through here, show you some of the things that make a successful Raider town and some of the things I built here which you may want to build yourself, including this defense tower, how it's built. It's actually pretty easy. First, there's one thing I want to say. If you saw on my Facebook page, I did post that today I was going to do the how-to on diagramming logic gates and begin to show how to build the computer that I built. Well, on that same post, I also announced a video that was going to be debuting last night, a steampunk-themed Fallout 4 video. And actually what happened is that became such a large project that it got pushed until today, which pushed out my plans for today's video. And then today I realized it was such a big project, it simply requires more attention. And so the long story short is basically there's a new cool feature coming to the channel, and that's a steampunk fantasy series. I realized it requires a lot more work than just one day, and so that and also the video I plan to do today are going to come later. I hope I didn't confuse you guys or lose anyone, so here we go. The first thing that bothers me about Raiders is they're rude and they're lazy. I mean, they like to do nothing. And you know, that's cool and all, but they also don't want to farm. Now, as easy as it can be to run a Raider settlement, the one problem you run into is food, because, well, they don't want to farm and they're just lazy. I mean, look at this. Look at this right here. They leave the toilet seat up. They don't even shut off the damn water pump when they're done. They just leave it running. That's what I'm talking about. So, as far as providing Raider settlements with food, as you know, there's the option to create, some people call them vassal settlements. I just call them slave settlements, easier to say. Which is basically where you talk to Shank over here and, you know, you go and you force or talk a settlement into supplying you. Well, that's actually, you know, that's one key to really making this work. And the problem is that Raiders eat a lot of food and they really populate your settlements. This one has 21 people, and as you can see, it's running low on food. What I do is occasionally they'll run low on food, and one great way to prevent that is, you know, whenever you're out, you know, normal things that I wouldn't pick up, like dandy boy apples or sugar bombs or, you know, whatever, like all that kind of crap food that has radiation, pick it up anyway, and when you get home, just dump it in your Raider Outpost workshop, and that will boost the food numbers. But see, like all my Raider settlements, they're not like normal settlers. Because of this character's charisma, she can have 21 settlers at her settlements, and because of that, see, Abernathy has 21, 21, 21, and so on and so forth. They fill up her settlements fast, and they eat a lot of food. So, here's how I deal with this. I have several of these kinds of settlements across the map supplying my Raider outposts. This one we haven't taken yet. I built this one and it's all ready to go. So I'm going to show you exactly what goes behind all this. What I did here is I came to the Nordhagen Beach. I thought this is a good place. It has a nice big open area and it has natural defense, you know, on two sides from the ocean. And what I did was, well, I just put a bunch of meat for, I think there's 96 or something food available here. 100. There's 100 food here. Oh, okay. Scratch that. 102. Anyway, here's what I did. Okay, so basically pick a settlement that you have control of currently. This is how you do, you know, what I call a slave settlement. Pick a settlement that you currently have control over, have not taken over yet with your Nuka World guys, and boost it. You know, basically it's like fattening the turkey before the feast, you know. I come here and I get as many settlers in as I could. I couldn't get all the settlers I want. Sometimes they just don't want to come to the transmitter signal. So I boosted it with robots. I went and I built like 10 robots and sent them here. And the turrets, why is there so many turrets? Those are here simply because I'm trying to keep this place safe and, you know, keep attackers away while I was preparing to take it over. Aren't these turrets going to make it harder to take over? Yes and no. Here's the thing on that. Settlement like this with so many plants, I plan to take over simply by, you know, peaceably, by talking to them. The reason is because these plants get caught in the crossfire. They can really bad. Now, I cannot verify this 100%. Perhaps one of you can for me. They will get cut down when you're taking over the village. I cannot confirm whether or not they grow back, since once you make a settlement your slave, you no longer have control over it. You can no longer repair anything that's broken. So I cannot personally confirm that the plants repair themselves, but I don't take that chance, and so I don't plan to have to fight these turrets. I'm just going to come over here. Now, luckily, my character has a high charisma of 11, so it will be no problem for her. Also, she controls everything else around this. That's one of the reasons I picked this place right here. I made it a real no-frills settlement. There's nothing here. It's just only what the settlers need. Enough defense to feel safe, and I didn't care where I placed it. I just plopped them down everywhere. Enough water, and then a big empty tower full of beds. This is basically, I guess, if you were to keep slaves on a plantation, pretty much how you do it, Not that this is any kind of instructional video on that, and not that I have any stance on that. So I haven't taken this over yet. Once I do, my food problems will be over, because this right here, supplies 102 food. My raider settlements each being 21 raiders, this can easily take care of at least probably 2/3 of my raider network. Alright, so that's kind of the basics on that. It's not a, it's not a secret how to do slave settlements. This is how I do it. I go big, fatten that turkey up. Now, aside from that, raiders are actually, as you know, very easy to keep happy. Simply give them a steady supply of chems and booze, and I believe all my raider settlements are between 80 and 100 happiness. This is 86. And that's one thing I like about them. They require basically no upkeep. They don't require you to sustain a network of supply lines. Of course, they just automatically share everything. It makes it really cool. The only thing I don't like is what it does with Preston Garvey's character, and that's actually a quick note I want to make. Before, if you're going to side with the Raiders, and of course Preston Garvey's going to get pissed off, the second you initiate any kind of attack whatsoever on the Commonwealth, Preston Garvey hates you. Before you do that, if that is your plan, move him out of your primary settlement. If he's in a primary settlement, move him out. No, he's not going to go hostile on you, and he will still work with you, and you can still complete the Minuteman quests. But he may, temporarily, here and there, aggro you. He did me. Everything was fine. He hated me, but he was still working with me, which was kind of a... Yeah, he kind of goes a little bipolar there. No offense to... I didn't mean to abuse that word, but he kind of does. He kind of goes a little wild on you. Anyway, back to what I was saying. What happened was that out of nowhere he aggroed me, and he stayed aggroed me for like days, and he was on my main settlements. I managed to get him out of combat long enough to rest, and that didn't help anyway. I just gave him a few days to cool off, and then he was fine. What I'm saying is, if you're going to start all this precautionary measure, send Preston far away. I sent him to Longfellow's cabin. He's over there, Brokeback Mountain with Longfellow, I guess. And so yeah, before you do any of this, you may already know this, make sure you send Preston away just in case he gets mad. You can let him cool off without him getting in your way. So there's a lot of cool things about this settlement that I've done that I'm proud of, things that, I would like to make a video just to show off, but I'm not much of one of those people who just shows off. I like to show how to do stuff. One cool little, not building, but room, one cool little room I really like is right here where I have the magazine stored. And I'm going to show you how I made this. It's very simple. It also, primarily, is a guard tower. Great vantage point for turrets. I only have the one turret up there, but man, put some missile launching turrets up there, and whatnot. And that's pretty awesome. So let's get to how to build this. This is the simple technique of, fusing concrete and warehouse elements into one thing. And as you know, as I've shown many times, and you probably just figured out yourself because it's so darn easy, you can connect the two building styles with floors, and that's the basis of this. I went ahead and started a small tower sunk in the ground just so we can more easily access it, and then I use my trusty scaffolding here. It's the second one on the prefabs list. It's really easy to pop these up. They're big, easy to climb, and good, and all that. So now that we've built this, let's go ahead, and you know what, I already do kind of need some elevation here. So let's get this over here. There we go. don't forget to build this floor first, because if you plan on putting defenses in it, what am I doing? There we go. You're going to want floors to set the turrets on. I've forgotten to put this floor in before, and then the turrets had nothing to sit on. Let's go ahead and put one piece of the floor, actually. Let's pull these out. We need a floor to attach the warehouse crap to, and that's what we're going to do right now. Let's go ahead and get us a warehouse floor up here. Okay, there we go. You, sir, are in the way. Now, let's get a little half wall. That's the height I like to do. It allows just enough room for the turrets to function. So we're going to put that. Now, I'm going to put these little support beams here. And those, from my experience, only come off of floors. They only snap to floors. So we're going to put a floor here, which is directly centered. Since I went out half a tile and then up, it's directly centered over our tower. So that means we can go ahead and pop this out. We're done with this. We're done with this. We've got the floor there to base those pillars off of, and that is what we want. Let's go ahead and put these guys back. And yeah, just so that we can more easily... I've gone ahead and sped up this section. Basically, all I'm doing here is going ahead and getting that floor in, like I mentioned, so I will have a place to put the turrets, and then I'm going to move the ceiling back over so that we can start placing the support beams. The beams are found in the miscellaneous, and for this purpose I believe we can just use the short ones. Well, it depends on the look you want. If you go with the short ones, well, they're going to look like that. You're going to have the little I-beam part at the top and the bottom. You can clip these through, and it's another cool look you might want to do. You won't see... I guess it depends on just depends on the look you want to go through. So we'll just place these here around it like so. Can be harder when it's high up in the air to snap these where you want them to go. And we should have 8 snapped. Yes, sir, that is good. Now to extend this up, we can extend it up like this, or we can go ahead and put the roof on top. The roof will not snap to the floor, but roofs will snap to walls and to other roofs. What I've done here is I just put a floor tile out. I got a little pilot wall here, so we can put a roof like so. And now that we have a roof, now we can snap whichever kind of roof here that we want. Say we want that one. And so that's how you do that. Or we can continue upwards. And what I've done here, I'm not going to go through the whole process. Basically, I just went upwards with the tower thing. One more spot here. And right there, that wall is basically, well, actually that wall is just snapped to the bottom of this. And because the half wall difference here, that set that wall's height off from this, which allowed me to create kind of a doorway here, because it only comes down this far. The trick was just getting it snapped through all this stuff. Concrete curved walls will generally snap through 1 to 2 things with no problem, but this was actually a challenge, but it will work. It will work. Alright guys, so there's some of my quick tips on raider towns, but you know, Nuka World is not exactly new, and everyone pretty much knows how this stuff works anyway. But those are my keys to success. They've worked for me. They keep my raiders happy, and it makes running raider towns really enjoyable when you're not... I don't want to make half the settlements on the map slave settlements. I want to be able to have just a couple supplying hundreds of food, so that I can pepper the map with these kind of things and build an army. Alright guys, that does it for today. For this week's special, Raider Settlement little tips and how to make a cool guard tower. Also the preview of some things that are coming up. I hope to see you guys soon in upcoming videos. I really hope you like this steampunk project that I'm working on. I will see you then. That'll probably be the next thing I upload. Alright guys, Like the video if you like what you see. Subscribe to keep abreast of all the new stuff coming up, especially if you're interested in steampunk, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. You might just like my next project. Alright guys, I'm Darkdally. I will catch you guys next time.